billion US dollars. I think the Netflix documentary says that it happened between 2019 and 2017 and 2019, something like that. Can you see that my eye is a bit red? I accidentally I stabbed myself. That's why I'm a few minutes late. Hopefully you can hear me. If you can actually hear me, let me know, because I haven't done any of these lives in a hot minute, so I think I may be even a bit nervous, if I may say so myself. I also brought my cup of tea, peppermint tea, with my unicorn mug, and hopefully we can have a fun uh, live, and also like a fun conversation, because I'd love you to be part of this conversation. What fascinates me the most about the story of the Simon guy who conned these women is that usually when there is a similar story like that, most of the time we imagine part of the story there are women, and hi Kata, there are middle-aged women, maybe a bit sad, lonely cat ladies, and we just think of them as interacting with these guys, and they have sad lives and things like that. But this story is completely different. His victims were absolutely gorgeous, professional women, and from the way they're speaking, you don't think that they're smart, like they're stupid. I don't think they're stupid. I think like, wow, how did this happen? However, I can clearly see how this happened. But firstly, I just want to pay my respect to this guy. I know it's a very unpopular opinion what I'm going to say, but I personally, even though what he did is not honorable and it is not something to be proud of, I think the attention to detail that went into this, and the way he did the whole thing, and the way he got money from these women, I admire that, because it's almost he created the whole business model and he replicated it. And Vodafone, bloody Vodafone, why are you reconnecting? Anyway, so going back, I can see that now you can see me. So one of the things that I thought he did so well is that he clearly understands women's psychology, and he understands how women operate. So he would say all those things, and all these women, they describe him as adventurous and mysterious and spontaneous, and of course incredibly rich. And he was also making all these future plans and other things, so he was planting all these seeds, and these women that were interacting with him, the ones that they then later gave him thousands and thousands and thousands, they thought that they're in this like a real committed relationship. So I want to share 7 lessons that I think every woman can learn from this experience, even if you are not interested in billionaires with private jets and things like that. Also, let me know in the comments if you actually watched the Tinder Swindler, I think that's what it's called, and what do you think about it? Did you like it? Did you find it fascinating? Did you think, oh, this would never happen to me? And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. So it's not just me talking, like there's some sort of, two-way conversation. And also, what is your choice of beverage? I'm having peppermint tea. Yes. I actually like peppermint tea. Peppermint tea is one of my favorite teas at the moment. I change it. I like to change it a bit. So so going back to those lessons, right? Lesson number 1, I think it's incredibly important to stop dreaming about this prince, magical person who is going to come and rescue and sweep you off your feet, and you're going to have this fairy tale story or 50 Shades of Grey story where Mr. Grey is flying to get you with his private jet and yachts and all these things. I think the reality of life is a bit different, and maybe I'm some sort of a love cynic, and okay, it's reconnecting again. So my understanding of love is more like the one, let's say, you can see a step I'll talk about, or Alain de Botton. I don't know if you've seen a video on my channel about 5 book recommendations on love and relationships. You can watch it later. I think it gives a more realistic, lifelike picture of what one can expect in a relationship. And I think if you have a more healthier and probably more realistic understanding of love and relationship and how two people interact, you won't be maybe misled by a prince like this Simon guy from Tinder Swindler, who was very unrealistic kind of person. Because I don't know about you, but I've never met a guy like that who is, doing all these kinds of things. Which gets me to lesson number 2, that just because he showers you with the most amazing gifts, it does not mean that he really cares about you. We saw, I don't know if you saw the series, but we saw in the series, I'm saying he was giving all these amazing presents and these flower arrangements, this, where you can't even hold it, like with your hand, you need your whole lap to hold it. And it leaves this impression with you that, oh my God, I am so amazing. This person is giving me these amazing flowers. He cares about me so much. But the truth is that very often when a man is going out of his way to give you all these gifts, he is just maybe impressing himself. He might be just a narcissist who is going out of his way to give you these gifts because he's impressing himself and not you. So I even had the experience myself. I remember seeing this guy, and he gave me this I don't want to say what gift in case he watches, even though I would not think he would ever watch, because I was like more than 10 years ago. And he gave me this gift. It was very extravagant gift, and I felt so special. I thought it was such a special gift, and I thought I was just the only girl in the world, I mean in his world. Later did I find out that he's just was a clear narcissist. Lesson number 3, I think it's very important to stay in your lane, to stay within your budget. So you meet this person, prince or whatever, or maybe you're coming from a certain background and you met this person who is from a different background, and now he is going to places that are out of your budget. He is going on holidays that are out of your budget. And you, because you don't want to tell him that, look, this is not the kind of life that I'm used to, you are finally stepping up and you trying to meet those expectations that you think he put out there for you, because you think that you have to become now this person who is spending this money and is able to afford all these things, even though that is out of your budget. But just because he is painting this picture for you that this is what his life is and this is your new normal, and you don't want to tell him, you don't want to show up as maybe a little Cinderella saying that, oh, I can't afford these things, so you are going, same, swiping and your card, taking loans just to meet that same lifestyle. And this is what happened for these women in that Tinder Swindler. They were women that were saving money for their house deposit, but this man, he made it sound that 25k or 50k is not a lot of money because he spends on one room maybe in one night for that. So they kind of thought, oh, because this is his normal, this is probably can be and should be my normal, because now I'm operating on this level and now I'm playing this game, which is not your game, this is his game. So I think it's very, very important when you're meeting someone new, or maybe you've been in a relationship and there is a very clear clash between lifestyles, between what you can afford, between what this person can afford. And if you feel like it's just out of line of what seems appropriate to you and what you are comfortable with. I think it's very important not to get out of your way to meet that person. Very important. Okay, it says you are live. Does that mean I got disconnected again? Oh, okay. Lesson number 4. I think this one is very, very important. Find out about his relationship with women in his life. So you want to find out what is his relationship with his ex-girlfriends, what is his relationship with his mom, because the truth is that I was watching this documentary and I was thinking, could this be that this man is behaving in the way that he's behaving because he was really hurt by women in the past? Maybe he was rejected many times, maybe he was treated like a piece of garbage, and now he wants to almost like get back to women, and he's choosing these beautiful women because he just doesn't, he's getting more satisfaction thinking like, oh, you know, this beautiful, just because she's beautiful, she's got access to all these things, so I'm going to get her, and I'm going to get these women, I'm going to teach them lessons, and I'm going to take all that money from them. I don't know if you saw a video on my channel about men that decide to go against women, and I think it's very important to have those conversations with a man. Maybe not on the first date asking, tell me about your mommy issues, even though I would be so tempted, but I would control myself. So as the time goes by and you have few more of those dates, and maybe you don't need necessarily to have a body count and know how many people this person slept with, because I don't think that's so relevant, but it's more relevant, how does he speak about his mother? How does he speak about his ex-girlfriends? Is he saying that they're all witches, whores, or whatever? How is he calling them? Because it's very likely that this is going to be a reflection of how he's going to speak about you, whether you are staying in that relationship or not, or going to get a separation, breakup, or whatever. But I think it will give you a clear understanding of what kind of person he is. Lesson number 5 is, I think it's very important to do boring things together. I think when you are meeting someone, and if he's someone who likes to impress you, fine dine you, okay, I'm live again. So yes, boring things, do boring things together. Yes, it's very, very, very easy to get distracted and to have this thinking, you know, oh, I'm having this pretty woman moment, and he's taking me to all these amazing places. But I think one of great things that happened during the pandemic, COVID, is that the couples that met each other and that they got together during the lockdown, they couldn't be distracted by all the glitter and all the fancy stuff and all the shiny things. They actually had to do simple things, cook meals together, go for walks, and just look at each other. So I think if you are seeing a guy and he's very into impressing you and taking you to all these amazing restaurants, now don't get me wrong, I like an amazing restaurant, I like a ballet, I like all these things just like you do, I'm assuming, like this video if you do. But sometimes you can be so distracted and you don't have any of the time to really connect with him, especially if he is more of a busy person, and if he doesn't have much time available for you, and if all the interactions that you have with him are filled with all this excitement and flashy things, and just it's so amazing. But the thing is, it's very easy to have fun with a person who has an ugly heart in maybe a fancy restaurant, but it's not so easy to sit and look at each other at a coffee place and have a bit of a more soul connection where you can because you know, no money can buy this. Yes, you can buy with money fancy stuff, but the real connection, you can't buy that with money. Lesson number 6, I think it's very important when you are in a relationship, when that you communicate your concerns. So you have this special ability, call it sixth sense, call it intuition, whatever you want to call it. When something doesn't feel right, you usually feel that something doesn't. And we are back. So yes, as I said, from my own personal experience, I had instances where I was with a person in a relationship, or what I thought was a relationship, but I misread certain things. And the reason I misread certain things and certain signals is because I chose to ignore what my inner voice, what my intuition was telling me. And I was in a position where I just always was walking on eggshells. So I didn't have the courage to even tell this person, look, this doesn't feel right. I don't like the way you treat me. I don't like the way you speak to me. This makes me uncomfortable. And it's not about attacking this person, but it's simply about communicating what is happening and seeing how this person that you're communicating with is reacting. If you are communicating your concerns and you're telling that you don't feel safe in this situation, you feel that something is off, and if this person is trying to shut you down, is calling you crazy, I think it's a massive red flag. And I would not try to ignore it, not try to say to myself, look, Ieva, yeah, you're just imagining things, you're overreacting. I would really take it very seriously, and I would dig a bit deeper and try to understand, okay, where is this coming from? Is he calling me crazy because I'm actually acknowledging something that is the truth and he doesn't want to admit it? Like, what is happening? And in the long run, can I see myself with a person who is not willing to communicate about the issues that we have, even though it only feels an issue for me? Maybe it's not an issue for him, but if it's the man that truly cares about me, his number one priority is going to see me happy, because that's how men are. If a man really cares about a woman, he wants to see you happy. He gets like a high from seeing you happy. He loves making his woman happy. And if this man is not acknowledging what I'm feeling, I just think it's a massive red flag. So I think that's another lesson to learn from this, because through the series, these women were communicating certain concerns, and he was almost like telling, like, yeah, you're making stuff up. That does not exist, and you just you need to calm down. That is not what is happening. So I think that would be a red flag. And also, a very important thing is what the situation swept you off your feet and you think this is my Prince Charming, and you want to book the wedding venues and all these things. I was in that situation. I remember I went on this date with this guy. I've not been on any dates for a really long time at that point. I think it was, I don't know how many years ago. And it just felt like he's just so perfect and he ticked so many boxes. And I even messaged my family. I said, I think I may have found my husband. And then 2 days later, I remember when I refused to come to his place and I was like, I'd rather just us meet somewhere in public. He said, oh, there is no spark. So I think it's very important, and that's number 7, the lesson number 7, to take things slow and not run into conclusions about this person just because he is so impressive and he seems so amazing and all these great things. You have to understand, when you don't know someone and there is a person in front of you, you are creating an image about this person. It's like, for you now, you're watching me and maybe you have an idea about me, especially if you're not new on this channel and you've been watching me for a while, so you have a certain understanding of who I am as a person. But this is just a small part of who I am. I am this, but I'm also many other things. And when you're going on the first date with someone, and when you are maybe in a relationship with someone, it's just early stages, you may get this idea that you know who this person is. But I think it's very important, instead of trying to fill up all the gaps with your fantasy, communicate clearly and find those things out. Find out what their intentions are. Find out what their aspirations are. Find out if this person is honorable. Yes, his bank account balance plays an important role in his life and in your life if you decide to be with this person, but it's also going to be extremely important if you decide to be with this person. Is he kind? Is he looking after people that he cares about? Does he tell the truth? These things will play an extremely important role in the long run. And I think it's very important not to get distracted by all the shiny things and all the glitter, as tempting as that is. Don't get me wrong, I like all the shiny things. I get impressed by that, and as much as I think, oh, I know how things work a little bit, I still get, I get tempted. I like shiny things. And I like tall and handsome and dark men and all that stuff. So I don't know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments some of the red flags maybe, or not red flags, but some of the your own observations that you had while you were watching the series, or maybe some of the red flags that you noticed, and when you were watching you were thinking, oh, if I was that person, I would have never done this, I would have never conducted myself in that way. Look, as I was watching them, I thought, yes, I do not have access to that amount of money, but I was myself in a situation where I still remember I was traveling through Southeast Asia, and I met this guy, and for some reason I made this whole story in my head that we are in a relationship, and he smashed his phone and he didn't have a phone, and I had two phones with me because I'm just an organized grown-up person, and I gave him my phone, one of my phones, and I said, look, this is a phone for you, and you can have it because you don't have how to contact someone. And then the story is that he smashed his phone. He never said sorry or that I damaged your phone. Like, I never saw that phone again. And then on top of that, I lent him a bit of money. And then I remember when I asked him for that money back, he was a bit like, oh, you're asking for that money back. Now, when I look back, I would have conducted myself in a different way, and I would have not given these things to him. However, I'm a loving and caring person. Now, when I think about it, I'm like, ooh, what's wrong with you, woman? But you do better when you know better. And these women that were conned by this man, when you think about it, and when I was watching, in a way, I was like, what is wrong with you, woman? You are so stupid. Why would you wire so much money to this man? Why would you bring him 25k cash through on the plane and things like that? But I know when you are in that situation, it's slightly different. And you just have to remember that the Simon guy, he's an extremely smart man, and the way he did the whole thing, I just find it so fascinating, and I don't want to say inspiring because that's not something I would ever do, but I find it inspiring, the time and energy that he actually spent creating his funnels and creating those streams of income coming from these women. I think with one woman, he was for 14 months before he asked for that money. That is incredible. Imagine how much time and energy that takes. That is incredible. So yeah, let me know your thoughts if you watched the series, the documentary. What was your takeaway? Make sure you watch this video here about 10 red flags that I think are very important to watch out for when you are dating or in a relationship. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this, then please click like, share it with your girlfriend. It helps me with the algorithm so that more women can see this. And always remember that you are worthy of love, and I shall see you next time. Bye.